The prosecutor's star witness, Michael Cohen, just made the biggest mistake in this hush money trial, and it wouldn't have happened if he had a gag order. Much like what Judge Juan Merchan placed on former President Donald Trump in this case. And just to get it out of the way, he's fining Donald Trump $9,000 for violating the gag order that he placed.
Former President Trump, the judge holding Mr. Trump in contempt of court and threatening to jail him if he continues to violate a gag order, which Mr. Trump calls unconstitutional. Laura Jarrett now with late developments.
Tonight, former President Trump hit with a $9,000 fine at his hush money trial, with the judge finding multiple violations of the gag order, prohibiting Mr. Trump from attacking witnesses, now threatening to throw him behind bars, saying jail may be a necessary punishment in the future. Mr. Trump's attorneys had argued it's unfair to hold him accountable for reposting criticism others have voiced, and that certain witnesses like Michael Cohen frequently attack Mr. Trump. The presumptive Republican nominee later deleting the 9 posts about Cohen and Stormy Daniels that landed him in hot water.
This gag order is not only unique, it's totally unconstitutional. I'm the Republican candidate for President of the United States. There's no crime. There's no anything here.
Supporters of Donald Trump are saying that this is the justice system in New York. Some say that the First Amendment doesn't apply to the former president anymore, while there are those who say that this is extremely unfair given that anyone can attack Donald Trump as they please. But let's go ahead and focus on Cohen here and how he may have just sent the case down the drain. So unlike Donald Trump, Cohen can say anything and everything that he wants about this case. He can comment on other people, including witnesses. Now, prosecutors should probably have told him that people can still use TikTok here in the country because legal observers agree about one thing. His videos and fundraising efforts through the social media app may have torpedoed the case against Donald Trump.
The optics are so interesting here. You have Cohen talking about this case on TikTok while Trump is under a gag order, can't respond to him, can't respond to anybody. How concerning is that for the prosecution?
I would say the optics are not interesting. They're bad. They're really bad.
Let me explain why. That's a better adjective,
yeah. He's the star witness of this case, which I've said before, I think is an arguably legally weak case. What is the defense going to say about Michael Cohen? That his whole livelihood is built upon criticizing Donald Trump, that he's built a financial livelihood, that he has a financial incentive to go after Donald Trump. That is a huge, huge hit to his credibility. And what is he doing right now? Going on TikTok and doubling down on that? You don't think half of these are going to come into evidence when his Donald Trump's team cross-examines Michael Cohen? The prosecutors must be sweating right now and panicking about this. By the way, Marky, this is why Michael Cohen was not the first witness in this case. No, we saw David Pecker. We know that Michael Cohen's banker is now going to be continuing his testimony today. Yep. They are having witnesses to build up his credibility so that when he finally gets on the stand, the jurors will believe what he has to say, because you don't want him as the first witness since he has all these issues of credibility. It's a disaster for him to do this.
Yeah. Now, before we really get into this, guys, all I ask is that you take 1 second, hit the like button for the video, and thank you so much for always sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter. Now, the problem here for the prosecution is that Cohen's credibility is built on sand. It's almost impossible to build it up, especially when legal experts have dubbed him as a liar. Former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy, he said that Cohen is a convicted perjurer and fraudster whose current defense of his fraud convictions is that he wasn't telling the truth when he pled guilty. Now, this poses a threat to the prosecution because even a federal judge said that Michael Cohen committed perjury under oath. Donald Trump called him a liar, and if judges are calling him a liar too, then that doesn't bode very well for the prosecution. Now, this has led many analysts to believe that this case is not going to go too long, taking into consideration that we're already pretty deep into it, yet still somehow can't point to a specific victim or even a crime. Now, Michael Cohen has gone on TikTok to talk about this case. And for those who may not be aware, TikTok has a gift system when it comes to live streams. It allows viewers of the stream to gift or give donations to a user. Those gifts in turn can be turned into money. McCarthy further added that having Cohen as the star witness was a huge mistake. He says that they choose to build a case on a witness with a track record of bad conduct and deep bias, and not surprisingly, he can't help himself but to continue to act in character. Now, what's funny is that when you see some of these streams, he's trying to explain what supposedly transpired with Trump, but then he suddenly has a mustache on his face or or a heart on his head. He also does the same heart symbol a lot of times. The guy's a narcissist through and through, and that's a huge problem for DA Alvin Bragg. Michael Avanatti, the one-time most dangerous enemy of Donald Trump, believes that Michael Cohen will sink Alvin Bragg's ship down to the bottom of the ocean.
Michael Avenatti, indeed, the former attorney to Stormy Daniels, is speaking out from prison, and he's defending Donald Trump. Quite a turn of events. Avenatti wrote on X, quote, "We can't be hypocrites when it comes to the First Amendment. It is outrageous that Cohen and Daniels can do countless TV interviews, post on social, and make money on bogus documentaries, all by talking shit about Trump. But he's gagged and threatened with jail if he responds." And actually, Avenatti was interviewed on MSNBC about these views. Let's listen.
I think this is the wrong case at the wrong time, Ari. I think that the case is in many ways stale at this juncture. You're talking about conduct that occurred some 8 years ago. I think the fact that it's occurring in state court in New York is a mistake.
He said that Cohen is dumber than a box of rocks and that he's reviewing the trial testimony in violation of the court's order, adding that Cohen is not supposed to be hearing or learning of that testimony before he testifies. So how did he even get access to it? Will Alvin Bragg be able to explain that? Because legal experts from all points of the country are now saying that Cohen has definitely botched this case for Alvin Bragg. Now, Cohen must have picked up the phone when the prosecution team called, because he had to backtrack on these live streams. He had this to say about his short-lived 15 seconds of fame on TikTok. "I'm not the defendant on this criminal matter and am not the subject of Judge Juan Merchan's gag order. Donald is. Nevertheless, I elected out of respect of the court and the prosecutors to cease commenting on Trump and this matter, which I have done." Now, let's be real here, guys. The only reason that Cohen stopped commenting on this case was because he was told to do it. He's been profiting off of Trump's name for a long time, and that's just become a habit of his. And lying seems to be the norm for him too. After saying that he was going to stop commenting on this case on ABC News, Cohen suddenly fired up TikTok and got straight to his attack. He slammed the news outlet for supposedly running a non-story and even called executives to step in. Now, the problem, according to analysts, is that this is a case against a person, not a crime. The intent is to interfere in the 2024 presidential elections, and these people will have to go to great lengths just to do that. Now, some say that people like Judge Juan Merchan, DA Alvin Bragg and Fani Willis, Special Counsel Jack Smith, and even AG Letitia James, they have all been blinded by their hatred for the former president. It's also why some believe that most, if not all, of these cases will turn into nothing very soon, because these cases seem to all have been born from spite, with the main goal to be in line with the Biden administration, to keep Donald Trump off the campaign trail and inside the courtrooms. Now, this might not end well for President Biden, especially as we're seeing him slip up in the polls, while the guy that they have in the courtroom is becoming much more popular. But what do you guys think about all this? Do any of these cases make sense to you? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to continue to get you guys the information you need, and I just want to thank y'all for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll see you on the next one.